welcome to our live weekly talk show where we break down effects that we want to break down. That's how I'm going to say it.
Because we want to.
Exactly. Seth, how are you doing?
Hashi,
That's
I'm so
wonderful.
good.
Hey, everybody. Today we are. How are you, man?
Oh, who cares? That was funny. Go with that.
Uh, yes, today I'm very excited because we are doing kind of a grab bag of audience suggestions. We get a lot of really wonderful comments, requests, and chat things from all over the place. And they are all gathered by our wonderful companion, Michael. Is Michael? Michael.
Michael.
Hey,
Hello.
there he is, everybody.
Yes, I
So,
try to pay attention to YouTube comments and chat comments and Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And if you VFX hashtag VFX and show us and ask for things, I write them down.
Wow, they're everywhere.
absolutely. We crave the validation and attention. Please, please
We don't just
do
crave
that.
it, we require it.
Yes. So today we're going to jump through a whole bunch of different types of things. So I'm excited about that. I teased one thing on social that we're going to cover, which is messing with the weather. Seasons are changing all around us, in the next month and change or whatever. But yeah, the leaves are probably changing around you. The set here is a lot more fall themed.
And
And
weight
for our
loss
friends in the
chaos.
Southern Hemisphere, winter is over and we're moving into spring.
Yes.
I love it.
That was taken into account when making this backdrop, that we would be inclusive, and that is why I ran out of words for that sentence.
Hey, it all works. But today's episode is all about lovely suggestions you all had.
Yeah.
I think that we are going to try to race through the notion of how to do a lot of these things. We're going to try to not get into the weeds, but it's us. So we're going to get into the weeds too. But right off the top, Seth, let me ask you a question that Joel Petrello, I think, is watching the show today. Asked if anyone knows the backstory behind a plate being called a plate.
Ooh,
Do you know that?
I did.
In
And
visual
I taught
effects?
it, and I've literally forgotten it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I literally taught this recently, and this shows you how much my brain absorbs and keeps. Do you have that? I know we know Michael knows. Do you know, Hashi?
I don't. I assumed it was because Disney painted on plate glass to film layers in their multiplanes or something.
Well,
Michael, what is the answer? The professor didn't know.
I mean, there's a couple different ways it could have come about. No one knows for sure where it came from, but basically that's it. You had different things on plates of glass. So from matte painting or from cartoon animation is one of the primary reasons it might have come out. It's possible that it came from a couple different ways to happen, but that's primarily it. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I have an idea.
Hey, well, Joel says he knows, and so yeah, why isn't he calling in the show?
I don't care what Joel says.
If you're coming back with a set of plates, you're over. It's a hat on a hat at this point.
Here's what I'm
Thank you all
coming at you with. There's my green screen.
Yeah,
This is
knowledge.
the VES Handbook of Visual Effects from the Visual Effects Society, Industry Standard VFX Practices and Procedures. 3rd edition, edited by Jeffrey A. Oken and Susan Zwerman, both of the Visual Effects Society. And this book is actually huge and fantastic. I require all my students to buy it because it will pay off for years to come. I reference this frequently to look up why the hell we call things certain things. Or, like, as a director, I like to use this as a cheat sheet to sound like I know what I'm talking about when working with a VFX soup. If they're talking about things I don't fully understand. Super, super handy and useful. So let's look up what it defines as a plate and why. Even though it's going to be exactly
funny
what you
story
said.
behind the term green screen. It's named for the color of the screen.
Incredible.
Who knew?
Who knew? I did.
And
when
why?
Michael
And
laughs, something has happened. I don't know why. It does it to me.
I was just enjoying Hashi's joke about why
Oh,
green screens are called green screens.
let's see.
I assume, and I didn't need some textbook
All
to look
right,
that
we'll
up.
come back to this because this book is so complex. I cannot understand the difference between Appendix A, B, and C. All right.
My goodness, I thought that this was going to be a like because it's on glass answer, and then we'd be moving on.
Me
But
too, but guess what?
let
I had to use this book. Hey, so which one of your project files, by the way? All right, so you go ahead, and I'll ask the question in case that's not where we're going.
Seth, what was that book again? The
This is
chat is asking.
the VES Handbook of Visual Effects, Industry Standard VFX Practices and Procedures, but you can be called the VES Handbook of Visual Effects, and it's by Jeffrey Oken and Susan Zwerman. And this is the 3rd edition. It is a massive book.
that is wild.
But it's got Scott Squires has a lot of stuff. Has a lot of stuff in here. It's like all the names that we all know are throughout this.
Grandma is surprised that textbooks exist for visual effects. Yes, many of them. There's some specifically for compositing. There's some for, I mean, simulations. There's tons of textbooks on every aspect of visual effects, not just glossaries and such.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not just YouTube, though. We do appreciate you getting your knowledge from
Yes.
YouTube.
Well, if we're talking VFX books, real quick, I want to say this pairs really well with the much more palatable Masters of Effects by our friend Ian Fales. This is a wonderful, awesome book that he put together a few years ago or several years ago. I recommend both books.
Lovely. All right, recommended reading. There will be. I was going to make a quiz. It was too
We should
easy.
make a VFX and Chill coffee table book after another year of doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think our content translates very well to the printed page.
I think so too.
Amazing. So,
since you've got that book, Seth, why is pulling a chroma key called pulling a chroma key? Like, why is it called a key? Is it because you're just finding there's a key color that you're accessing? I don't know the answer to this one. The chat is asking.
No, yeah,
Ryan
the
Dogamaw is asking, and I apologize if that is not how you pronounce your last name. Good luck pronouncing mine.
the rest of the show is just us defining terms from this book. Stick around if you would like.
Yeah, actually, I have this in my notes from class the other day.
Incredible. So
we can move on. I'll answer that question later.
Amazing. Well, one of the
superlatives are all you have. Amazing, incredible. I'm bored. Let's move on.
Fantastic. So let's see. Think Steez in one of our chats had requested to see a VFX and Chill creating water and rain and drips kind of visual effects. And that got me to thinking maybe I have some footage around that would be helpful to be able to load in and do some stuff with. And Seth and I ended up talking about altering weather in footage. It's either something you sometimes need to do for continuity or for entirely digitally transforming what weather you were dealt on the day that you filmed. And depending on your budget, the weather seems negotiable in post. So yeah, I think we both had a little bit of a play around with that yesterday, and we could start talking about that if you're interested.
Yeah.
What do you say, Seth?
I say we do. Let me move over to our After Effects. Hold on a second. Is Comp 01 the one that you prepped for us?
Yes, that's the one.
The best.
Let's see. So we have a prepped file here, I think. Yeah. I must have saved an additional step here. But here we go. This is just a fun clip from probably Video Hive or something like that of a guy walking down the street. Oh, I'm justified weird on my screen.
Weird. Sorry about that.
All good. Let's see. You'll see my show notes and secrets.
You know what? Let me see if I can. Let's actually go.
Hashi, Windows key D will just go straight to desktop if you don't want people to see your credit card number.
Well, it's my backdrop image is why. So I liked the logo. Yes, but we have this lovely clip of a chap walking down the street, and this was for some other effect I was going to do at one point. I had actually rotoed him and then ran a content-aware fill pass on this because I was going to do effects relating to that. But it's perfect um, as a little showcase of trying to alter weather in a clip. Um, Seth, do you want to divide up types of looks that we could do on this? Different seasons we could represent, perhaps?
Yeah. Whoa. Sorry. I was fixing OBS. What was your question?
Do you want to both take a different season and play with it
Yeah, let's do
with
it.
this clip? That sounds good. What do you want to take? Call it, and I'll
Man,
do something different.
I'm gonna take the easy one and give you the hard one. Is that all right?
Do it.
I want to take winter.
Winter, take it. All right. And I will take, what are some other seasons or conditions? Rainy is rainy.
Yeah.
That's a
I think
season,
I
right?
think we definitely need to do rainy because that was the spark, the seed that sparked this whole discussion in the first place. So I think it's only
Perfect.
fair that
All
we
right.
do some rain. Now,
So
we just I mean, for those of you who have Action VFX subscription, there's some handy rainfall assets on there now.
really wonderful rain assets on Action VFX. Uh, yeah. And honestly, one of the effects that I've done the longest in film is compositing rain into scenes that weren't rainy when they were filmed because all students wanted to make films that took place in the rain, but then they filmed them in Southern California, which was stupid. So
Well, I mean,
I learned
even if you use like a rain rig on set, it's really difficult to get rain to read on camera. Like a lot of films actually put milk in there because it actually gets picked up the lights better. You have to like pump a hard backlight really to get rain to show up. Like you're even like watching American football and they're playing in the rain. The announcers are going, "Gosh, it's rainy," and you look at the screen, you're like, "It doesn't look that rainy." And then they tackle, and the water goes everywhere. It just didn't show up on film, so you have to add rain digitally anyway, even if you shot in rain sometimes.
it's true. And yeah, Joel has pointed out what I said yesterday to no reaction from my co-host is that we should basically redo the Notting Hill season sequence, which is what the, what this shot is kind of evocative of. So yeah, we'll do our seasons and then with our spare time over the weekend, Seth will edit this into a
Yeah,
to a Notting
I'll
Hill
add the Bill
sequence.
Withers song and we'll cut it all together.
Perfect. So to try to break down the steps of what I'm going to do, this footage already has a rotoed character. I've already content-aware filled where he was supposed to be. It's not perfect, but I'm putting him back. It's not a big deal if that little spot doesn't look great. But I also ran a camera track and ran our scene normalization tool on it. So those are the raw ingredients that Seth and I are both starting with. And the first thing that I'm going to do is a big component of making something look wet are reflections. And right now, uh, you can see it's very dry. Everything is very matte and boring. And so the first thing I'm going to do is try to simulate this building face reflecting in the ground. How about you over there, Seth?
Well, I took the last frame of the video because it shows the most amount of information here, and I to get it over to Photoshop really quickly. I'm excited for Michael to tell me easier and better way to do it, but lately my way to get something over to Photoshop is to go to Content Aware Fill and just say create reference frame, and it grabs that and takes it over to Photoshop.
That is the fastest way to do it, yes.
Yes, so I did that, and I'm going to go in here and I went to the Photoshop's neural filters and this cool landscape mixer that's there, and I'm just going to crank up winter to 100 and see what it does. And down here I have the processing on device status bar.
This is something amazing. I hadn't heard of this until like this week, which was so fortuitous.
Where'd you learn
And
about it? I have to know.
Someone's tweet. I truly don't remember.
I learned about it from a TikTok. From a TikTok of some guy
it just
going,
came out.
It was a TikTok.
And the guy,
I tick the talk, everyone.
It was a TikTok. Hashi and I were talking the ticks and ticking the talks, and this talk came up and ticked us, and we were like, We were TikToking together, by the way. Hashi and I take the talks together. I'm not going to keep going with this. It's done. So, and I click OK, and it sends it out to a new layer. So I have, this is the original, this is with. It's not perfect, but I think it gives us a good baseline. It's better than me going in and hand painting
It
all of
looks
this.
like a snow-dusted scene to me. I mean, it's
It
pretty
does
cool.
surprisingly a good job. Now,
It's
in your defense
VFX
for
and
not
chill
knowing
ready.
about it, this feature was just recently introduced into Photoshop at Adobe Max in the Adobe Max release, so it's pretty new. It had the neural filters for a while, but the season one is a new drop.
So I'm
Ugh,
clicking
just
save on
drop.
this, and when I save it, I come back over here, and it should, this reference frame down here. Oh, where'd I go? I'm coming back. Reference frame right here, and I can just, this is really dumb, but I can freeze frame it, time freeze frame, and then I can drag it to last the whole thing. Now, how am I going to track it? Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's my question. You've got a still frame there, but what are you
Well,
gonna
look,
do now?
the way I immediately think to do it is I'm going to use king pens, from pens, and two pens to be able to, I'm going to cut it up into the ground and then the building. And
I see.
I'm going to use this as my source frame and have it track, I'm going to planar track the ground and the building and see if I can get away with super simple planar track with of those. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. All right, I'm going to, like I said, create a reflection, and we here at Maxon/Red Giant make an awesome plugin that I like called Reflection. It's part of the VFX suite, and look, I've added it. I'm done.
What does Reflection do, Hashi?
What does Reflection do? Reflection is a super simple tool that gives you this really simple visual interface where you can define a ground plane via this nice straight line, and then define a reflection direction. In this case, straight down. Everyone remembers the Sesame Street song, right?
Reflection direction.
And
that's right.
So look at this already. Like the stupid thing about how simple that is that look how wet this looks already. That's so wonderful. I really like it.
It instantly adds wetness. It really does.
Instant
So
wetness. That's
instant.
The,
We're
that's
just
how
going
we
to
market
step
it.
back and yes, Red Giant will get. Let's. So how do we convert? One of the things about reflection is it's perfect for like a locked off scenario or something like that. But this is a moving camera, and you can see as soon as I start to pan, we've lost all of our amazing sense of the realism that this one frame was evocative of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my good old friend, the 2comp expression. I've created two 3D nulls, one here and one here. This one I'm calling start. And so I'm going to open up my axis start property under my reflection thing. Alt click on that, and I'm just going to do a classic start.2comp here. 0. And I should really have a t-shirt that says this big, but what this has done is I have now attached the axis start position to this 3D null. So wherever it sits, and it's sitting way back here in 3D space, that's connected. I can copy the same expression and paste it to my axis end, and then I'll just change the layer name from start to end, if I can spell it. And now reflection is automatically connecting to these 2 points, which is great. And I can just point this the direction down, and let me play through. I might get some weird slanting of the ground plane here. Looks like I might need a third reference point to keep this pointed down. So let's.
Seth, apparently you are oddly too quiet this week.
Well. They all come crawling back. Here we go. And I'm back.
Direction. I'm creating a third 3D null called direction. And you can see whenever I create a new 3D object, it's putting it right in the center of the middle of this building, which is what I told my normalized track script to make the center of this world, which is great. So if I wanted to put anything on the building faces or anything, that's right where something would default to. But now I would like this to move straight down from this center point, kind of into the ground somewhere over here. And let's go ahead and add a 2comp expression for the slant and height position. And we'll call this layer direction, all capitalized this time.
Hashi, do you have the keyboard shortcut set up where you can zoom into a part of your screen that people are wanting to see your expressions?
Yeah.
They cannot see.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
It's like Windows key scroll in or something like that.
No one asked to see my expressions last week.
Didn't I thought I used to have it set up. Windows logo key, Control M. Not another Control M. I can't have
so many Control M's.
I can't have this many Control M's.
There's already way too many in your life.
Okay, Windows logo plus key. That I could deal with maybe, except that my freaking hand's not that wide. What do you take me for? Okay. So yeah, we can do that in the future. So yeah, check it out, everybody. Here's the 2comp expression. Hey, that's kind of exciting. I like that. Now zoom back out here. So yeah, I've now attached all 3 points of my reflection to these 3D layers. And so as I play through, I get kind of this thing going on, which is better. You know what? I might even be better just keying where I want this thing to be. I want this to always be basically pointed straight down. There's some math that I'm not thinking of that would make it work, but let's go with this for now.
I've been putting off projection mapping, and I'm wondering if I should have done that instead here. What did you do on the thing you posted yesterday?
I used an AI tool called EBSynth that was brought up last week on the show by users. So go ahead and do it your way, Seth.
Well,
and then I'll demo that one. You all love it. All right. So imagine I took the time to go through and do a bunch of nice keyframes on this third position. I don't need very many, but I'll just fix all the parts where it's going a little bit off. And I think that I've got a slight bit of, let me see, where do I tell reflection to render extra? Don't clip it to the bounding box. I'm going to uncheck that. And now, once I right now it's actually trying to stretch this 2D layer past its bounds several thousand pixels. So it's not in love with me, but let's see, let me just switch this to half here. All right, but we've got our reflection in the ground, which is wonderful. One of the lovely things about reflection is that it also has built-in displacement mapping and built-in blurring and softness. So if I turn up the softness amount, you'll see that excessive linear blur. So it'll be sharp right up next to the things, then it can blur out even wider. And you can change the aspect of that softness to sort of match whatever you have going on. I'm going to try softening the ground even more with this MIP map softness type. And then I'm going to go to my displacement map, and I'm going to choose the copy of this layer of footage and use it as a bump map. So watch this. If I use its luminance, I can horizontally offset the reflection. And look at this, I'm getting like the individual brick pattern offset.
Look at that.
Now it's a little bit weirder up here, but it's so cool. You can smooth it out a little bit, so it's a little bit softer. You can also have the opacity fade out over time. So I want the fade length to be more like here, where you can tell it's reflecting, but not a tremendous amount. And then Seth, I'll let you talk for a second.
Oh, I'm just thinking I need to projection map this because I just don't think it's working the way I thought it would. And I could have set up my scene by now. This is another one of those things where I'm trying to avoid... Oh, God. Where I'm trying to avoid doing extra work. Yeah, see, it's like it's good for a few frames, but then it just starts to... Well, dang it.
Well, put your guy back in front of it and soften that all.
Yeah, I'll put your guy back in front of it and soften it all.
See, what I'm going to do next, no one knows. So the next thing I'm going to do is really, really straightforward, which is just I'm going to go to Magic Bullet Looks and choose something that looks rainier. And then if you don't like my color choices, you can blame whoever made this preset. Look at this. Look how much rainier this looks with just these two things. Ground reflections, some color, and I don't love that look, actually. Let me edit this look a bit. Where's my... Gosh, what do I want?
It's me, every day.
Every day, all the time. All day I dream about Seth again.
Yeah, this building starts to lean too much. I've not done projection mapping on the show. Why don't we do it? And I always mess it up, so that'd be a good thing to do.
It'll be fun. So
you've already done the track, so that's good.
You'll get what's going on here. All you would do after this point is just add some particular that is throwing down some pixels in a really straightforward way. It should be fast. I promise.
So we want our solids, our projection solids, to be white or gray. I forget this. I've done this in a while. White.
I also mess this up constantly. So I'm just going to make a box emitter that is directional with some velocity that way, which is going to point it back in Z. So then I'm going to rotate it about 90 degrees. Wait, did I mean to say negative 90? There we go. I'm going to raise it up in space. Oh, no, that's the Z. I know my directions. I do.
The directions are handily color-coded, which helps.
Buddy, I love how that's looking over there already. Like,
it looks so wet and so rainy.
So if I change the Y, since it's rotated 90 degrees, that'll change the length here. I'm just basically changing the dimensions of my particular emitter box. I'm going to move it a little bit higher. I'm going to make the particle life shorter because they actually are not going to show up for very long. I only want them to show up for a teeny bit. I'm going to make their size smaller, like 3. Who needs sphere feather when you've got motion blur? And actually, who needs CPU rendering when you've got GPU rendering for something like this? GPU rendering, motion blur on. And yeah, there we go. Just to zoom in on what are very small particles. There you go. See that? And wait, what's the Windows shortcut key? Yeah, there we go. Look at that, those drops of rain. One of the most fun things you can do when you first get particular is just adding rain to things. So I'll add this. Let's add a whole bunch more particles. Why not? Maybe 1,500 a second. Let's see what that looks like. And also way down here in global controls, I'm going to turn up my pre-run. This used to be in under emission extras under the emitter, but now it's under global controls pre-run. Let's run this for like 5 seconds. And maybe my particle life is too short. Life is too short for everyone, but especially the particles.
I mean, if you want to get real fancy, you could put a floor layer in there that kills them off. And if you want to get even fancier, you could put a floor layer in there that spawns other particles to make it look like it's splashing.
Why do you know what's in my head?
The way you are.
So let's see. These particles are too big, but I'm doing that. It's for the milk factor that we were talking about earlier. On this streaming setup, I have no idea what you'll see. Hey, Seth, I've done yours now. This is early winter, and it's just
early
like
winter.
Like,
It doesn't stick.
It's like bouncing between 30 and 40 degree
This is
winter.
like gross. It's like gross, like noon February snowfall in Tennessee, where it's just like wet all over the ground. And the snow just wants to get the hell out of the sky and turn into water as fast as possible.
I love this. All right. I'm going to try turning down the size a bit, but I do want it to still read for everybody, which I know is silly, but you do have to be conscious of what your format is. So rain is still not nearly fast enough. And I like just to use a directional emitter for rain instead of like a physics simulation because, who has the time? Who has the time? Life is short. Life is 2 seconds short. There we go. Oh, gosh, still not fast enough. What the heck? All right, fine. You're going to move at 18,000 pixels per second. That's looking a little bit more like rain. The directional spread is a little wide. It looks a little digitally. So let's change the directional spread to like 6.
If you don't want to build your own rain effect like Hashi's doing, there are some presets. But if you make it yourself and understand the concepts, it's easier to make it fit your scene than trying to take a preset that someone just built to just be generic and make it fit into a scene.
That's why they call me no preset Hashi. So let me make this really obvious for a second. If I were to turn up these raindrops to large size, they're obviously falling through the ground and continuing, and that's annoying. They should be stopping when they hit the ground. And so that is why, as Michael alluded to earlier, we have some wonderful things like visibility. I can set, wait, what am I thinking of?
I was thinking of going under bounce and setting the floor and just killing it.
Oh, here it is.
Like make the floor bounce layer. Yeah.
I'm going to enable the bounce under physics simulations. Bounce 1 layer is going to be I didn't really name this yet, but we'll call this the floor. I only named wall because that's what I wanted to be the center of my world using this. Outside of After Effects, Michael is the center of my world at all times. Let's see here. So,
R.I.P. And children.
Please don't watch the show, children. I'm going to enable bounce, and for the bounce layer, I will select floor, just easier that way. I'm going to call it an infinite plane, and right now, I'll have the collision event, instead of bounce, I'm going to have it be kill. So evil, right? Kill. So now, let's see, these are too big to, not too big, but watch this. Now as I play...
size shaming your particle slash?
Hey, all particles sizes are welcome here. And I think that my floor plane might be a little bit low. Let me see. It's probably working way out here, but yeah, the particles are disappearing right when they hit the floor, but I'm going to maybe move my emitter back away from the building a little bit. All that rain is happening inside the building too. So let's make the particle size back down to where it was, maybe 2 or so. And everyone gets what I've done over here, right? Does anyone not understand how this will all work toward creating a lovely rain effect? See, look, it's raining in front of this.
I
The
would I
particles are
would love to see some
disappearing.
air turbulence added onto that, Hashi, to give it just a little bit of wind blown randomness.
All right, so I'll turn up the particles per second just so we can see them a little bit more. Did I turn down my opacity at all? Yeah, I did. I'm just going to turn it up because I can see them, but I don't know if you all can. That I've got this nice, about this dense rain going on. And
Yeah,
honestly, for your
when you
final
zoom into
comp, you
100,
want
when
it
you
to
zoom into
be
100, we can see it and it looks really good.
excellent. So you want something like this. Sometimes I randomize the color of the particles or the opacity of them. So some are just very bright for whatever reason, as if they caught a light or something like that. But I'm going to ignore that for now. And I'm going to go into my designer window for just a second here, because I would like to emit some additional particles from these rain particles. And hopefully everyone knew you could do that already, but if not, let me show you. So here is the Trapcode designer window. And what's lovely about it is you can rotate a camera around it just the same. You can see my emitter box up there and all of my particles falling down toward a floor where they are dying right around here. But now I can add an additional system right here. Boop. And for this system, if I go to its properties, what type of emitter is it? I would like it to be to emit from the parent system, and I would like it to emit from the end of parent life right here. So check that out. So now, let's see, how many, what is it emitting right now? It's emitting 100 particles. I don't need that. I just need to emit like 4 particles right when it hits. And I want them to be yeah, perfect. Let's see here. I play this again. Oh, why don't you want a preview for me? All right, apply. I'm going to get out of this window, and maybe I'll color them differently just for a second so everyone can see how they work. Seth, how is it going?
Well, as normal with camera projection, it's fine. I can't figure out how to. I'm having trouble. I got this cutoff point down here on my floor that's driving me crazy, and I cannot figure out what it is.
That's coming from your projection.
That's from
projection
my
mapping?
solid. It's like, yeah, the cutoff has happened. Like it's not. It's cutting
That
off.
could be the world scale issue, maybe. You could maybe parent everything to a 3D null that you put in the center and try scaling it down and seeing if the visibility increases. Because sometimes After Effects has a natural like cutoff point for.
Well, and to do that, I have to parent everything but something, right? Or do I parent everything?
Everything, including the camera. Everything that is 3D parented to it.
What? Expression error. What?
Oh man, we're
yeah.
both erroring out at the same time.
Well, you've got the no. All right, who cares? Sorry.
Well, in the meantime, over on my screen, since After Effects isn't liking me right now, I'm going to show you something kind of fun. There's this very, very basic looking program called EB Synth. Right here, this is the whole program, everyone. Let's see.
That's a real complicated flashy.
EB Synth. Let me find their site makes it look all pretty. Let's see. So EB Synth, you've probably on social seen some of their examples. So the primary idea of this is that EB Synth likes to take a keyframe and then try to propagate that keyframe's motion along the motion vectors of whatever your clip is. So for example, you would paint a try to trace along the motion vectors that exist from your piece of footage. So kind of cool. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to quickly open up, let's see, in this VFX and Chill folder, I have actually pre-rendered out that the footage of that background here that Seth is working with right now. And I'm going to scroll all the way to, let's say, maybe the last frame, because that contains a lot of what's in the first. We'll open this up, and just a quick repeat of what we were talking about earlier. Actually, no, that's kind of blurry. I don't like that. I'm going to pick a frame a little bit more in the middle before it does that rack focus. Let's pick frame 170. Why not? And we'll run it through those neural filters again, which is filter, neural filters. And what's cool about neural filters is that if you choose this landscape mixer, it has a bunch of presets in here already. And so my instinct would be to use maybe this one or this one. They both have some good wintry things going on. I'm going to try this one down here and turn up the winter amount to all the way, because why not? And we'll see what happens over there. In the meantime, I'm also going to try to search for just any other photo of a snowy street like that. Whoops, my camera frozen.
Is it?
Maybe. I felt like I heard it click at me in a
Seems to be
an unfriendly way.
Yeah, you are frozen.
Let's see. Where are you? Be right back, people, I think.
Well, now I've got something else happening that I don't understand. This whole episode's going to be me, I like how we haven't gotten to any more questions.
Well, this one question was a fairly complicated one with a couple of different answers. It was a good question, which is why it's question number one.
Change everything about a thing.
All right.
So what's kind of cool is that I'm going to, let me save an image over here. It's on my other screen. Did I come back as a video feed, by the way, everyone?
Maybe.
You are moving. We see you moving.
Hey, lovely. All right. It's all working. Okay. Winter Street. Right. So instead of one of these landscapes, I can say custom and then load an image, which is really cool. So I'm going to load up something that I just saved, probably somewhere in here. Where did I save it?
So Hashi is using a different neural filter than Seth used. Seth used the one that lets you change the weather on your picture, and Hashi is using one where you take the style of and colors of one image and transfer them onto the other in a very unique way. Specifically landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
It does some pretty neat things. Of course, if you want to get some real cool pitch art, you can use it on faces and stuff and see what it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait, where did my it for some reason defaults to you opening a PNG for this, and you have to select JPEG, which is what I just downloaded. So there's that. So I'm going to say, look at that photo and use that as a style or as a landscape template for you. And it looks exactly the same. Dang it. Oh, well, that's cool. Whatever. I'm going to turn down the winter amount. Let's see what that gives me. Well, I mean, again, this is still an AI doing this for me, which is nice. I mean, I'm doing none of the actual work. So this seems lovely. So let's just change it to whatever this is, I'm going to go with it, everyone. Processing on device. I have so many things open on. All right. That was no good. Y'all with us, everyone?
Yeah. Everyone's here. I should talk some. Sorry. I couldn't get the projection mapping on the floor to work, and I was getting impatient. So I think I can get a decent Kingpin track from the floor. So I'm doing Kingpin on the floor, projection mapping on the wall.
Party in the back.
Yeah, exactly, as the party adages go. Meanwhile, you literally are just doing my shot over there.
So I'm gonna. So we have this folder right here. So here's where my mini EB synth tutorial begins. Save a folder of your piece of footage in as an image sequence like that. Create a new folder that you call whatever you want, but Snowy Keys is what I'm going to call it. And in this folder, I'm just going to save this one frame. I'll rename it Snowy, but I'm going to maintain the frame number. See right there? This was frame 170 of the video. So I'm going to make sure that it knows that that's frame 170, and I'm going to save it there. Great, whatever, default options. Now I'm going to come into EB Synth, which let me see what happens if I do that. Is that more helpful? There we go. And all you got to do is it wants to know where did you store your keyframes, and I'm going to say select. I'm going to say I store them right here. Nope, footage. Snowy Keys, and select that one and say OK. And where did you save your video? Select, go to that image sequence of the full background. OK. And now the next thing is the very complicated synth button. And that's it. That's literally the entire process. It's going to start background processing through these frames. And let me zoom back out here. And as it goes, if you want, you can actually sort of watch along with its progress, because somewhere it is outputting frames of using the initial piece of footage, but trying to propagate the stylization that Photoshop came up with to all frames. So look at that. And it works pretty fast. Where did you go, EB Synth? So it's chugging through those. One of the fun things about it is once you're done, one of the buttons here is called Export to After Effects, which is really great. So you can also see it is just creating and uploading. I'm going to pause my Dropbox.
Hashi, how much does Absinthe cost? The chat is asking.
Oh, it costs the price of free. So you could go grab it right now.
It's really neat, especially if you have any hint of artistic whatever, and you want to have really cool, like, cartoony, stylized stuff. You can get a frame, paint over top of it, use whatever filters you want, and then when that goes over top of your video, you don't have to use it for footage either. If you do 3D animation, but you want kind of more of a painterly look, just take a couple of frames from your 3D animation into Photoshop, paint over top of them, or Adobe Fresco or whatever, paint over top of them, make it look all painterly, and then it'll match it to your 3D animation too.
It is pretty wild that it works like this, and it works pretty well. You'll see what happens with this example. I see the question of why not bulk process all the frames in Photoshop. My guess would be that the interpolation would not have something called temporal coherence, meaning
correct, yes,
that each frame would be processed as its own thing, which means that the AI might see it slightly differently, think about it differently, and have no memory of what the frame before or after looked like. Whereas EBSynth is utilizing motion vectors, and we've talked about them a little bit on this show, and I've definitely talked about them in an episode of something or other. I think a side quest on something. The Temple of Doom one. I called it Template of Doom, even though it was based on the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I talk a lot about it in that. which was a tip I should acknowledge came from Production Crate, a way to hack content-aware fill for its motion vectory knowledge. But anyway, EB Synth, I'm pretty sure, is done now with all that. And I can just say export to AE. But at 24 frames per second, please. Oh, and you got to press the button there. Oh, I forgot. I had closed the After Effects. That was going to be otherwise instant and all cool.
I find with After Effects 2022, I mind a lot less when it crashes because the splash screen is so pleasing.
It's very pleasant splash screen. And also, I do know that it's at least utilizing my whole computer, which is wonderful. I should maybe give it a little bit less of my whole computer during the show, but it's so fun.
I mean, you probably should, yeah.
But yeah, probably should. Let's see. So yeah, you all see what it did. It brought in that image sequence, and now let's watch this. Look, we've got a beautiful Van Gogh-esque windy landscape.
All right,
and
I give up.
Honestly, these motion vectors are not bad. I mean, there is some weird stretchiness happening here at the end of the clip when new footage is coming in because it didn't have a reference for that. So it's just trying to propagate that outward. It's just like content-aware fill, where it's trying to imagine what likely happened. And if I were to mix this with, say, let me open that original comp again. Don't save that. And let me import this wherever you got rendered. Are you this one? Great. If I were to import this PNG sequence and throw it into my 3D tracked world, like it matches pretty darned well. So check that out, first of all. I could even mix and match it. I could say I want the street to look like it's wet because everything is sort of melting away. So I'll subtract that and feather that out and get like a mix between the street still being wet and the thing doing that. Like you could do all sorts of weird weather effects like this. Pretty cool. I'm going to delete that mask for a moment and then show you.
Process locally or in a cloud?
I'm not positive. It doesn't feel like it's taking time to process in the cloud. I feel like it could be locally. But I don't know. I had this cool thing that I'm just going to quickly throw on my floor since I have it. I'm going to copy the position and rotation of my
Sorry
floor
to interrupt
layer.
you guys. I have a question.
Interrupt.
Do either of you know? I couldn't get the projection map to work like for the ground, and I cannot get a decent kingpin track on any of these surfaces for the entirety of the comp. But I have your solids that you tracked into this scene. It's just a matter of projecting these walls and floors onto them. I have a thought. I could because the thing is, if I could get a kingpin track out of this, I could just do you'd use the copy from two pins. Like you go to the frame that's your reference frame, do copy from two pins once you've tracked it, and it will actually, paste that like image across that planar surface, and I can do that for the building and the floor. So here's what I'm wondering is, can I do a two comp? Can I find 2D points from the corners of your 3D tracked solids in order to create those from pins?
Yes, it's just a little bit annoying because you'd have to. The most straightforward way I would know to do that is to literally create 4 nulls, attach them all to the solid, and position them at 0, 0, 0, 1920, 1080, 0, whatever version of that.
I'm gonna do it. I got nothing to do. That sounds fun.
Hey, I also do have some other user suggestions in case you want to escape this horrible weather. And
here's the problem.
Try some other things.
I can't let this beat me. I'm going to find a way to do this without AI. I don't know. I probably should move on to something else. Let me try this once and then, because I want to see if it works.
Love it.
I'll let
And
Stu scream at me from the comments.
and now if you know, wanted to, the idea that like the street was being like trod upon by giants, just terrifying giants that walk across the thing, you could use the your ground plane and throw in a little texture like that, and now get a cute little scene. Look at that. It's winter. And especially, oh yeah, where's my guy? I forgot all about the guy. Welcome back. Look at that. It looks like
Hi,
he's,
guy.
Hi,
hi
Looks
guys.
like he
guy.
needs to be color corrected.
Yeah, he does. Let's see. So what elements do we have going on in here? We've got the guy, we've got the background and the wall and everything like that. How about I just do this? Let me turn off guy layer. I'll bring this whole comp into another comp like that. I'll bring the guy into here. Grab these two guys and effect RGB effect super comp. Super comp. All right. Man, roto presets. I would like some integration here. Whoops. I want to be able to see. There we go. Let's see what kind of integration we have. How about a foggy integration because it's winter? Yeah, too much. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to go to his, I'm going to scroll to a frame where he's in front of some of the darker window colors and stuff too. Where he's in front of a variety of colors. Oh, the camera's moving counter him right there, kind of. Okay, so let's try right here. It's got footprints behind him. It's got the thing behind him. And if I were to add some color correction to this clip and then have it match the background. Did I click on the button? Hey, there we go. He's more integrated now. So I'm going to turn down the haze amount, or at least turn up the shadow amount on the haze. Turn that down even more. Like some light wrap. Everyone could use a little bit of light wrap. I'm exaggerating it because I want that episode 2 look. That Indiana Jones and the
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Crystal of the Crystals stuff.
Hey, for fun, let's run my Indiana Jones title generator.
Oh, let's see.
And Seth. Indiana Jones and the Hood of the Golden Lie. That sounds like a choose your own adventure way.
I like that one.
The Hood of the Golden Lie. I dig that. I love this. I actually think that there's too
hacker,
much.
The person is part of the scene. He was just rotoscoped out and contented where filled away. So we're just putting him back in and making him look wintry to match. And Hashi, the question is, do you think Take on Me would have been done in Epson?
It's the problem with that is you don't actually want graphic textures like pencil lines specifically tracking with your motion vectors. It looks yucky. It looks different. It doesn't look anything like the 80s style. I mean, arguably, if you could use motion vectors to track on a randomized sequence of different textures or something like that, it could work. Which isn't to say I didn't try. I did actually try to see what EB Synth would do with either outlines or with something very graphic. And the more graphic it was, the less well it turned out, I'll just say. So right now I'm going into my background layer and just trying to like kill some of the contrast in it, give it more of a, oh gosh, there's a little bit of a delay here and I'm doing too much. I just thought my blacks were too dark. Anyway, you get it. He's in the winter time and a thing, and he's got, it's really bright snow. It's that really, really bright snow that just overwhelms your foggy camera. Let me add some diffusion on the background. Oh, it's already on there. Perfect. Check it out. And this is how I got my VFX gig for Call the Midwife. All right, I'm gonna shut this down. Everyone get the principle. Or Seth, do you still want to make sure we cover the projection mapping idea? How's it going over there?
Because my idea worked. The parenting, okay, come on. Oh my gosh, just play. Let me purge.
Whoops, I'm saving. But are we saving over the same file right now too?
No, I imported it into my After Effects
you're
project
clever.
file. So this worked. So just to recap, even though only a lunatic would do this, but a desperate lunatic like me, Hashi had 3D tracked and given us this wall solid and the floor solid. And what I wanted to be able to do was to project, like I wanted to take this reference that I had here, that I made not reference, but this image that I made. Let me turn off the mask. This image that I made in Photoshop, I wanted to be able to track this into the scene, but have like the wall be up against the wall and the floor be up against the floor and not just be a flat solid floating around. And one of the things Kingpin can do is I'll actually undo some of the stuff that I did here. Let me get back to where the from pins go back to. Oh, I saved it, so I can't undo. Anyway, I'll reset the from pin. So I took Kingpin and I did what Hashi said. I created 4 null objects for wall top right, wall top left, wall bottom left, wall bottom right. I aligned them with the corners of this 3D solid that's here. These are 3D nulls. And then I went into Kingpin and I alt-clicked and I dragged the pick whip just to the layer, each layer corresponding with the corners, and added the 2comp expression so that these points will always be in the 2D pixel, in the 2D point in the comp wherever those 3D nulls happen to be, giving me my like Kingpin track I was looking for. And then obviously that looks super weird, so you just go to the from pin section and to go to make sure you're on the frame where you pulled the source frame from, click copy from 2 pins, and now it lines up perfectly and it will track, that wall is now tracking along the wall of the wall. This was such a long ordeal, but I can't tell you how good it feels.
I like it. I'm happy that you let us know.
And I'm happy that you're happy.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I let an obsession get the best of me.
Well, now that you have reached your happy place, are you ready to take on another customer question?
No, I have to finish the whole comp. But Hashi can.
Customer. It's like these people are paying us.
Customer. Yeah. You can bring up some questions if you want.
I was a little bit curious.
Hashi, what you doing over there, buddy?
You're gonna EB send something to him?
Just kind of curious to see what happened if I EB sent something to him. Man, all right, let me see if I call this graph. All right, I don't remember if EB sent likes TIFF sequences. It might only like PNG sequences. Let's see if I go into here and say, it doesn't want my. We don't have time to convert to pings. All right. Anyway, let me close down this Thomas Kincaid holiday special.
That does look like a Thomas Kincaid painting.
See, so Thomas, call me up when you make your feature.
He's
more of your MCU.
Thomas Kincaid is not around to make phone calls.
I meant his estate, his litigious estate.
Jesse Rogers is asking if you're going to go back to the rain, he was wanting to see you make the actor look like he's wet.
Oh. Sure. Let's see. Let's go. I don't even remember did I save it? in that state. Start and where were we here? Footprints, this thing, and is it buried under here? Hey, it is buried under here. All right. Here's that, and let's see here.
And for the comment in the chat, Supercomp uses the GPU, not the CPU.
So yeah.
Yeah, wait, let's see. All right. So, real simply, I know I got this. I totally got this. Footage. Delete. Yeah. All right. Are you happy?
Yeah, he looks so wet.
So wet. And in fact, watch this. Look, I'm gonna overdo this pithy joke. Y'all love me. Where's my bucket? Yeah. Look at him. Soaking wet.
Hashi is making him look wet. He's wet now. Happy, everyone?
Be more specific then next time. Okay. Well, first of all, look at this exciting.
Awesome.
There we go.
That's fantastic.
There he's just. Oh wait, I'm actually kind of curious because wouldn't it just look like he's moving through the?
All right, Michael, give me something else. Give me another thing.
Oh my God.
Oh,
okay.
Hey, yo, he's walking through a flooded street. This is fantastic.
Look at this. This is better than anything that I was going to come up
Oh,
with.
that's fantastic.
Oh, and I could set this bump map to actually be the right layer too.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So let's see. So we have a couple of questions here. So Mig is Star-Lord or Mig-I is Star-Lord? I'm not sure. Can you do that DedSec effect where he makes broadcasts for Watch Dogs 2 cutscenes? They look cool AF. Let's see these cool things. DedSec.
I've got what?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
DedSec. Okay.
You know,
so
you got a
I'm
trimmed
unfamiliar with this
version.
property,
Let me grab the trimmed version.
But I can tell that this is basically a. We've talked a little bit about this kind of stuff with Darby, I think, when we were talking about trying to force images into a more graphic look. So that's one question we have. We also have Adam Tuck on Instagram asked, how do you make a futuristic sci-fi map? Which might just be a broad question in general. And let's see, one of these other questions, we have a challenge from the game hacker YT. I don't know if that is like YouTube or if that's like.
Well, they are present in the chat today, so they can answer that.
Does that stand for YouTube gamer hacker or game hacker, or is it a nod to the Neil Stephenson classic Snow Crash? Search for RRR. I forget we're on a delay. Anyway, so yeah, the
DedSec thing is just.
The DedSec thing is fast, right? That's just.
Well, there's a couple of you basically can do. Do I still have my?
So say you filmed yourself with a hoodie and a face filter. Which
you did.
Which I did because I had this makeup on last week. I figured I'd record it. So here's me in a hoodie, talking. Look at the intensity of that. And just track I'm gonna track some squares to my face here. Wait, why show?
I'm gonna try the text, like a text version of this, just to with
Do that.
a AE script that I have, or a plugin that I have that I really like.
Let's see. I thought that I had tracked like a null throughout here to move with the head a bit. And then, yeah, here we go. Just a black solid. I could just draw some mask shapes on. So I think what I would do for DeadSec is you need some kind of video input, whatever. And I think it would help if he were on an alpha channel or something. I know this doesn't. This is my approximation. So it's this dude, right? And he does things and he talks and he's, I assume, threatening all of the. What is the game called again? He's threatening all of the watchdogs. He's going to steal all of their watches.
Is that what I don't know
And
anything about what we're doing. I don't know what it's from. Or
he's dead set on capturing all the dogs' watches. I'm positive
Wow.
that's appropriate.
Incredible.
So we did this a little bit with Darby. We tried playing around with like posterize, which forces this to fewer colors, which is always kind of a fun effect. I might actually, before that, do some hue saturation stuff on this. Just desaturate it. Michael, is there a faster way to desaturate something? Like
You mean apply the black and white effect?
The black and white effect? Let's do that. Let's see. Black and white. Look at that. There we go. And then posterize them to 5 levels.
It gives you nice control over how it black and whites things too. So you can, if you want a particular, like if you want lips to pop out, then you would make the red a lot less and,
cool.
Yellow a lot more, things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Like if you had color in your lips, not makeup, like you do in this.
Very true. Seeing what pops with different things.
So I have this really cool effect called Pixdither from Wonk Effects, which I don't even remember where I found this.
Oh man, that's just it. Like that's all they used.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's literally like it has all of these preset patterns like Floyd Steinberg and Turo Sierra Atkinson and Bayer patterns, and you have like specific swatches. I'm in 1-bit gray right now, and I'm using the Floyd Steinberg pattern, and like that gives me pretty close to like what.
Oh man, that's it.
And I've done this. I can't find my animation preset, but I had one from years ago that I called Resting Bit Face. That it did this, and it made stuff look like it was loaded on a GeoCities site from 1993. Let me see if I can find some examples of it.
It's beautiful. I'm doing a trick that Michael taught me last time, which was to take this level and then run an extract on it with a completely softened out whatchamacallit there. And then, what was it? Change the blending mode to the dissolve blending mode.
That's
okay. Cool. Interesting. It's something. And let's see. Maybe would this work better if you see that pattern you've got going over there, Seth, is really cool. Maybe I could add a checkerboard pattern on top of this all that is black and multiplying. Let me see what happens if I do that. Black, multiply, and I'll make the width 1 pixel. And I need to do it at full if I want to see it. 2 pixels. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, you need to go more than the 1 pixel, otherwise it'll just look. Yeah.
There we go. So he's interesting. Let's see what. Yeah, look at how weird that is. Oh, should I run a fill on it too now, so it's all just one color?
You can.
Let's see. What do I think?
I found my old preset, the Resting Bit Face preset. It doesn't really translate very well to the live stream, but
That's pretty cool. I love I love the Space Jam logo example.
Well, it's a good thing to test because it got multiple colors
and
and multiple levels of likability in the characters.
Well done. And it's an image that would have appeared in this resolution at some point on the World Wide Web.
Love that. All right, here's this version of it, just in After Effects, where just got the stacked up black and white filter. Let's see, I'll do them in order. So we've got black and white, which just desaturated it. Posterize, which forced these into little blocks like that. An extract effect with it really softened out. And the key here is that the layer blending mode is dissolve down here. And then I've experimented with filling them all in white because that's technically more 2-bit. So you could do that. I suppose if I did this, I would kind of want to darken some of the original image. I'm kind of getting a very high contrast black and white right now. Ugh. Any of these are cool. Look how glitchy and silly this is.
If you want to get real crazy, throw a curves effect either before or after your black and white, and then do a weird up down to get us like a solarized
Oh
effect.
yeah, we should. Let's see.
Someone on the chat is going to love this because this is so much what's happening in video right now with all the glitch wave stuff that's coming out. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Solarize.
Oh yeah, this guy is messy. Look at that creepazoid. And then also in between here, you could certainly add some universe glitch. Oh yeah. I'll just leave it on full 100. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Heck yes.
All right. So let's see. So if I were in this, I would actually I would turn down the amount a lot.
The game hacker, that's a very involved question that is probably better for another show. But it is a very good idea to use multiple, if you're having a roto with masks and not roto brush, to use multiple masks for the different body parts. It would take a little while to explain why it's better, but it is almost always better to use different masks for different body parts. But it would take way too long to explain for this show when we're trying to do non-roto effects.
Always better.
So some other episode, we can maybe talk about that.
Let's see here. All right, and I'm just going to, just for funsies, let's just fill this example in. There we go. See, it's exactly like the game clip you just played, Seth. Oh, yep. See, oh, bad news. DedZek has come for your dog's watches. I'm going to get that joke in as many times as I can. And because it's so good. All right. So, so Seth, one of the other, some of the other comments here. Also, oh man, we're going to monopolize these game hacker comments. The effect from the Suicide Squad trailer is a request.
Polka dot man.
There are also VFX BTW me. I don't know if that's VFX, by the way. Me from was curious about Godzilla's nuclear pulse, and let's see, what else do we have? A couple of Harry Potter spells as well. Oh, we're watching a clip.
Oh, I was just looking at the Polka Dot Man stuff you were talking about.
Polka Dot Man stuff. So that's one option. There's also the what does Godzilla's nuclear pulse look like? I did not see the latest.
It is. This was the first of. This is Gareth Edwards' one, I believe, or maybe not. Maybe this is from another one. Yeah, this is not Gareth Edwards. This is the one I didn't see. A nuclear pulse. That's a lot happening.
All charged up and then does that. Boom.
Oh, I did this in Plot Device.
There you go.
That's literally the dome from.
You did do that in plot device. That is so spot on.
See if I can remember how I did
That's,
that.
Yeah,
I have a
Surely
tutorial.
there's-
Wait,
surely
I have
there's
a
some sort of tutorial.
Yeah, I forgot.
just post the link to the tutorial down there. That's how you do the Godzilla pulse. You do.
I'm gonna see that. Although
You got to familiarize yourselves with the work of Seth
actually,
Worley. You'll
yeah, duh. No, actually, I do it
it's
different.
VFX.
I think I do it way differently now. I used Form to do it last time, but you know what? What's going to stop me from trying something else?
And the game hacker, you should not use fractal noise with the CC sphere. You should use VR fractal noise with the CC sphere because that means you get a perfectly seamless noise instead of one that has a big seam on it from the edges.
Beautiful.
Listen to you. VR
That's a good answer.
fractal noise.
So Seth, you do want to try doing something with that?
This effect requires GPU acceleration. Do I not have that turned on?
No, just go to your preferences or the project settings actually. Where is it? File project settings, maybe?
I'm at Mercury GPU acceleration metal.
How old is your Mac again?
This might be why no GPU accelerated things work for me. It's late 2013.
How much video memory are on those cards?
32
What card do you
gigs?
have? I can't see on the...
32 gigs memory, processor,
No,
3.
go down,
What do you
AMD.
want? Graphics, 3 gigs.
Not enough. You need at least 4 for the VR effects to work.
Well, then I'll just use fractal noise because I'm a monster.
All right. Let me see. What will I tag? I've forgotten already what we just covered.
Hashi, can you show off how
Just
VR fractal noise does no seam, just to demonstrate to the chat how magical it is?
Yeah, let me just do, let's see, don't save that. Let's do a new composition. Let's go with that. Layer, new, solid. And then I'm pretty sure that my,
And Seth, you want to show them how to use 2 offsets and CC wire remover to fix the seam?
No, I don't.
all right. So look at this. VR fractal noise. You'll notice as I take this and I grab like the transform setting, watch. Perfectly tiled business. Look at all that. So now if I were to apply a sphere to this, CC sphere that is, look what we got here. We got this wonderful texture that tiles
No pinching at the
infinitely.
poles, no tiles. It's gorgeous.
Always got to avoid pinching at the poles. So look at this, some VR fractal noise, some CC sphere. Let's turn up the brightness and contrast. Let's go with like here, turn up the complexity. Let's grab some turbulent, sharp noise and then invert it. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I actually like the basic noise. And then you can just add like toner and say it's like, I don't know. Michael called me out for just making up my own colors because I can't see them earlier.
I did not.
He did. He said, get right out of here.
You disabled freak. Yeah, that sounds like me.
All right, there we go. Look at that beautiful planet. And transform. Let's turn the scale down. Look at that. Even as the scale grows, it grows in. Ooh, it's like an animation of a ginormous solar storm or like a dust storm that's on a global scale. Anyway, that's cool. All right, I got off on a tangent.
That was a useful tangent. Thank you.
Yeah, here's how you create planetoids, all right? And then you make it a 3D layer, and then you add a camera, and then you put your camera back here, and you
don't
do
make it a 3D
thing.
layer. It's a 3D effect already.
I know. Oh, it is, huh? Wait, but I thought CC Sphere didn't react to the camera.
You got to tie in the parameters, but it's better
Well, I
than
don't. Well, I don't want to tie in the
just use the free
parameters.
orb plugin from Video Copilot. Then it renders faster in
What?
CC anyway.
It does. All right. So
Assuming you have a GPU, Seth.
that's true. I got off on a tangent. From the chat, and I know you have a delay. Um, do you want to see polka dot man stuff? Do you want to see? I've forgotten already what I mentioned. Harry Potter's
Priori
Priori
Incantatum.
Incantatum effect. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that clip up. Doo-doo-doo.
I've gone into my own world trying recreating this sphere.
Yes, you stay in that world. I'm going to take a quick look at what the spell is all about. Okay, so there's already an existing Red Giant tutorial on wand battles, but Priori Incantatum, I think, is this phenomenon right here, where was spoiler alerts for Harry Potter? I don't know. He conjures up Edward from Twilight. I don't know who that is. And
the crossover event of the season.
Jeez. And I think that he conjures up his parents as ghosts. This is the effect, right? That we're talking
But
about.
like most things that Harry Potter does, it was an accident.
Oof. Tell my parents about my death. Hi, I'm your dead mother. I don't have
It looks
audio.
like she's talking about everyone should fear her and tremble as she takes the One Ring, is what she looks like. Oh,
Hey, son. Your Professor Snape always had a crush on me. He's actually looking out for you. For God's
she couldn't
sake.
tell him anything useful. She was just like, "Love you."
So useless. She's like,
Useless.
hey.
Useless.
I don't even remember if that's how it goes. There's so many twists and turns in the Potterverse. All right. Polka dots. I see a vote. So I'm going with that. All right, let's see if we can find an exciting what do we call our lovely Bloxy thing that we have assets from. Seth, why can't I think of what our thing is called?
What thing?
Artlist.
Huh?
We use Artlist,
Artlist.
right?
We do use Artlist. Artlist and production for our music, yeah.
Lovely. All
And
right.
music bed. But Artlist.
If you're looking for stuff, it's art footage, it's art grid.
Yeah, sorry. Thank
Production
you.
crate and action VFX. I don't know what you're asking.
Oh yeah, clips is what I'm looking for. So I just want to look for a clip that I can do this over. Let's delete all this stuff. Sign in. Boring.
Hey, look, I made it to where if you scale up the dome, it evolves the noise and changes the scale as it moves. And that's kind of cool. And I think I can make a contact glow around the radius of the rim of it as well. So you can make like a little Thunderdome rig.
I'm liking this work so far, Seth.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, it's nice. The green grid is especially attractive.
Oh, go die. Let me turn this off.
Wait. Wait, what episode did we do? What episode was Carnage Asada?
It was called Carnage Asada, and though it was called that, but now it's called.
Yeah, but what was the date?
Oh well, let's race to find out.
Racing, diverting my resources.
Checking the Airtable.
It streamed 3 months ago.
Michael.
And the specific date was August.
The specific
6th.
date. Nope, I'm
August
telling
6th.
you.
6th.
Damn it.
August 6th.
Let's see.
The point of having this August 6th,
Oh, is it August 6th? Oh, okay.
2021.
I was seeing if Seth had saved his
Oh, my meat tubes.
your meat tubes
They're in there.
Oh, that would be perfect for the polka dot guy throwing his polka
footage.
dots. That would be great. Yeah.
It's a
I,
great plate for it. You're just
do
doing
you
some
do you have?
particular, some glow in particular.
I don't have the plate. Yeah, I'm just doing. That's all
You
I'm
don't have the
doing.
plate? That's not what's open over
I,
there?
no, this
No,
is
that
the.
one has the actual tubes.
Oh, let me see.
If you don't have it, that I don't. I'm just derailing you for my own.
I'm derailed. This episode, I'm horribly derailed. I don't know what happened. So I'm just kind of like following my. I'm over here. I'm kind of like sunken into myself over here. Let me see. What day? Let me save this dome and let me import the tubes and find that plate for you.
Yeah, my microphone is just falling down.
Oh, no.
Y'all let me know if it's annoying at this distance.
August 6th. Carnage Asada.
Man, it's fun to search for plates.
The plate is 2 shots.
Junk. Ugh.
But I'll give you the one where, let's see. Reveal and Finder. All right. Copy.
Or is it fine?
Well, no, it's not Among Us. My kids, by the way, the game Among Us, my kids refer to it as like one word, Among Us, and it's one of the funniest
Among
things
Us.
to me ever. All right, it's in it's in this week's footage folder. It's image 1180.
Perfect. That's ingenious. I'm gonna get these worms off screen because, my God. All right. In the meantime, I turned off my Dropbox just for the episode. So in the meantime, let's take a look at those dots. What do we got? Footage, audience, questions, viewer question clips. All right. So Suicide Squad. So as far as I remember, they just look like little like game pieces,
Yeah.
kind of. Just little
I'll pull it up.
like English Smarties,
Oh,
right?
you got it. Yeah, they really do. They just look like little candy pieces, like plastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not American Smarties. I know better.
Yeah, those foreign Smarties that are
They look like Spree.
like M&Ms.
Spree candies.
They do look like Spree.
What's that game where you like flip little plastic discs into a cup, Twinkle or something, or
Pling,
Plinko?
yeah.
you
Tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks? That's it. Looks like Tiddlywinks.
It is
That's
like
an actual
Tiddlywinks.
game. I thought that was just a thing that old timers did when they were bored. Like
No, it's a thing where you have the little discs and you try to flip the little one. You use the disc to flip another little disc up and try to land it in a cup. It's about as fun as marbles.
By which
I would
Incredible.
prefer a stick in a hoop and a dusty road personally.
All right. So I'm going to create a new composition, and I'm going to make this composition a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it maybe 300 by 300. And in this, I'm going to, let's see. There are a couple of ways we could do this. Michael, do I want the sprite to look like 3D rendered object like you did in your music video? Or do I want to use actual rotating sprites? Though they wouldn't have that volume.
No.
So let me save the project right up top. Thank you very much, everyone. Where are we? VFX and chill episode polka dot man. All right. Let's see. What's the best way to do a little rotating thing? All right, let's open up mirror And for mirror, I'm going to quickly go to my geometry and see if we happen to have a little capsule model in here or something. Um, Disk, do you have any volume? Let's see. Come on, default people. Uh, uh. I mean, work. A blood cell could work.
Just grab one of those cylinders and scale it down.
Oh yeah, they're the capsule. I wanted it to be round.
Oh, you want the end to be rounded? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what did I do? Why didn't you recognize you? Oh, I haven't. I know what happened. I haven't copied over my. What's it called? Tell After Effects to recognize OBJ sequence or OBJ
Oh
files.
yeah, that
So
comes with the mirror install. But if you
yeah, let me quickly shut that down. We often have Seth and I and Michael always have like 400 versions of every plugin installed in our computers, and so there's a bit of shifting around. Seth, what are you doing in the meantime while I dive into my Adobe folder?
Great question. I don't know. I'm just doing. I am trying to
I
create like
know.
one simple animated preset rig that will do the Thunderdome outward, and it's fine.
I like that we're calling it the Thunderdome and not what we're actually trying to copy it off of.
Oh, sorry. That's just what I called it when I was.
No, I think Thunderdome is a better name for it than Godzilla's nuclear fart, whatever it is.
That's what it was. Godzilla's nuclear fart.
I mean, he built up, and then exploded. I don't know what else.
That
No.
Wow. Well, you did it.
Michael, do you remember off the top of your head where the file format?
Oh, no. Give me a second.
Nah, dang it. I mean, I could reinstall this, but I'd really rather just find the file. Plugins. It's not data format. It's not.
Be there in a second.
What I'm doing is that After Effects is kicking out my OBJ file because it's like, that's not a thing.
I
But
don't
it is.
recognize that. Where's that at?
All right, I'll erase you.
Well, that's not what I.
Game Hacker, use Saber in a way no one has used it.
That's not possible.
I'm going to use it to kill that
They really
man
love Saber.
in a
They
bucket.
like really love Saber. Like, I think it's more interesting to learn to like figure out and learn what's going on behind the scenes on Saber and like how to just emulate it yourself. It's a really cool plugin, but like you can do so much more by just learning about distortion maps and glows.
It's true, but you know.
I shouldn't have said that because I don't really feel like doing distortion maps and glows right now.
No, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be answering viewer questions this week.
Which I know I'm doing 100%. I've been answering so many viewer questions.
Okay, Hashi, if you go into support files, plugins, format, and trap code, the trap code OBJ plugin is in there.
Okay, support files, what?
Support files, plugins, format, trap code.
This is going great.
Plugins format.
Yeah.
And which one is it? Oh, trap code under there.
Yeah,
I see
go
it
into an
now.
After Effects version where you have it correctly installed.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah, so there are some benefits to having like pre-released versions of things and trying it out in new versions of whatever's, but by gum does it sometimes bite you.
Okay, plugins format. Yes, I am the administrator. Yeah, best. All right, let's see. All right, reopening my After Effects so it can recognize my OBJ file. I'm walking the long way around while Seth's footage
Yeah, I have
downloads.
I have no end goal here. I'm just
Perfect.
So I kind of feel like I should jump in on something else.
Right. Jump in on something else.
Left.
All right. What could you do in let's see. Hey, do you have your face template handy
I do.
from last week?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Polka Dot Man looked like in the Polka Dot movie when he gets all
He just
filled it up with the
yeah.
let's see. I gotta.
He just has polka
I'm
dots on his
sure that
face.
exists somewhere. He's got polka dots on his face, but they look like gross, like zits, like colorful.
Gross zits.
I don't even want to come up with other words for them. The yuckies.
Ew.
All right.
All right, sure.
I've gone into Mirror and I chose the capsule model because I realized that the capsule model, if I were to scale its Y down, is exactly what I want, which is a little dot, kind of like that. See, let me rotate it in X. See, it's a dot, but it's got a teeny bit of, edge like that. And now for the material, I'm going to, or I guess actually, what's it under? It's under shader. I want it to be smooth. I want it to be filled. Let's choose porcelain, maybe. Because they're not quite chromy, but they're almost there.
I think porcelain should be good. And I mean, you need to put an environment in there for it to reflect.
There we go. All right. So let's make
works.
a little looping animation of this that's maybe 2 seconds long. That way some can spin in slow motion and I can adjust the speed later. Let's trim this comp to the work area. Let's add a keyframe for 0 on the rotation here. And at 2 seconds, we'll make it 360, and then I'll actually drag that keyframe, either this keyframe or that keyframe, 1 frame past. Got it? So then when it gets back to the 0 again, all right? So I've got this thing going on, lovely. And we're going to go into the...
You probably want to color it a somewhat slightly gray, so it
yes, good point. Thank you. We'll color it gray. And so right now it's reflecting this default environment here, but I could grab something more custom. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, you probably want something more black and white for it to reflect, because that way when you colorize the sprites in particular, you won't have to worry about hassling with all the extra colors from the reflection.
They will. All right, environments. Let's use...
Go back a folder. You had a good one right there.
Wait, which one?
Back a folder. You had one in the previous folder you ran. Whatever. Yeah, right there.
This default one?
Yeah.
Make it look nice and shiny. All right, so let's bring in that environment back here, but I'm going to turn off that layer because all I need it to do is to be referenced here in the environment map in Mirror. So let's say custom environment map is that material environment. So now as this rotates, you can see that. There we go. Let's turn up the specular a little bit, or where's the reflectivity? It's all the way up. Specular shininess, specular's high. Add a light in here, because why not?
Rotate your environment, because you can scooch it around.
That's a great idea. All right, let's try to move this. It's a little darker. Generally, a light kind of above it, so the bottom is darker. All right, you said rotate environment. Oh yeah, there we go. Get some interesting. I'm rotating the environment around this object.
Extremely important, and you can take days getting the right reflection on, say, for example, a telephone. If you're working on, some sort of smartphone ad, and you have a client who's really picky, and they're fruit-based, you can spend a long time just getting the reflection in just the right spot.
All right,
this feels like it really happened to someone.
Ambient light here.
A friend of mine.
All right.
Here's a dome, by the way. I didn't move on to other things. I kept working on this dome because I have a problem.
Did you apply optical glow? Because that looks beautiful.
Did I what?
Did you apply optical glow? Because that looks
I did
beautiful.
apply optical glow. I'm going to put this at quarter resolution, and it might ruin everything, but yeah, it did ruin everything, but it just wasn't playing back.
All right, let me see if I have your piece of footage yet, Seth. I do. Check it out. All right, so grab your 4K image from Seth, and then just do yourself a favor and just scale that all down and fit it to frame. Why not? All right, so let's go back to the event moment right here, which is Seth is going to, I'll mute your audio. And
I have no idea what my audio is on that.
Yeah, let's put a marker there. It's always fun when you have the raw footage, which has to involve you like
Oh no,
walking up to the camera and shutting it off and stuff like that.
I don't remember what mine is. It's like 80 takes, 80 of the same take, I think. 80 takes of the same action.
Oh yeah, I forgot you pull it back in that clip. So we're just going to do a little time remap here. And I'm going to slow it all the way down to there so it freezes.
I don't know how I missed this, but Production Crate suggested a name for those pimples that you were wanting Seth to make, and they called them face gushies.
Face gushies. Oh, thanks, Production Crate.
Aww.
See, that's where they were in the naming VFX elements. Seth is Squid Games.
Those are tracking markers that he drew on his face.
Oh, what did it say?
Yes.
Squid Games. You look like a character who can quite get the right costume note to work at the Squid Games headquarters.
Yes, it's true.
I'm turning on frame optical flow, frame interpolation. So what I'm hoping happens now is this will freeze right there. It's a little bit obvious that it's slow motion, but who cares? Let's turn this 3D, and I'm going to offset the anchor point. I know we've just got a little bit of time, but I promise this will come together quickly. I'll put your anchor point right at the spot where you're throwing that. And since this is a 4K piece of footage, actually I might as well move the camera in closer to you. Let's crop this down. All right, so everyone can see that I've just made a 3D layer out of the footage. It won't have any parallax or anything like that, but I think it'll be kind of cool. Transform, let's put some keyframes right on the position and point of interest, and then scroll past the pitch. And let's have the camera end up back here, but when the pitch is about to happen, I'll have the camera up here. And since he's 4K, this will hopefully all kind of work. Let's see. So he'll go, wha-cha! Look at that.
You did it.
Good. Done.
Hashi, I thought you muted the audio, but I heard a distinct "hoocha" in there.
That
I'm
zoom,
going to make
this is
live
like
sound effects.
This is like Stanley Kubrick's like Polka Dot Man, because that zoom for some reason just feels like yeah. Like you don't even add the polka dots. Just me doing that, and you move back, you zoom back, and then you.
Why was Stanley Kubrick not around to direct a Marvel film?
Everyone.
It's everyone's loss.
Or DC film in the case of Suicide Squad.
Trap code, whatever these are called.
Same thing.
Nerd.
Yeah, I did. I said
they're
not the same thing. Marvel films are way better.
All right, so obviously I'm going to use particular for this. And in this case, I should probably go back and rename my sprite layer. So let's name this I don't know, dot. Good enough. And let me turn up its scale just a little bit. Or actually, an easier way might be just to add a camera and then zoom in the camera so it makes full use of its pixel range. Oh, what have I done? I don't like that look. All right, let's turn the AO off. I don't need you. Perfect. All right, so there's the dot and just a little 2-second loop here. So I'm going to bring in the dot down here. I'm going to hide it. Then I'm going to go up to particular, and then under my, I guess we can just do it this way. Let's say make this directional. We'll rotate the X 180 degrees, and we'll have the particles shoot out right at the point where Seth's hand gets here. All right. So 0 before then, and then suddenly immediately a lot, and then it'll trail off to like, I guess 0 again eventually. I don't remember. Is it like a stream, or is it just like
Cluster.
each cast is like a cluster? Like,
Well,
all right.
I mean, you could probably look at some footage.
I know that I have
No,
it
we
saved
can't.
in here.
Where is it? Here it is. Looking at it now. He goes, it's a
So
stream.
it's a stream. Okay, so it doesn't. So check
His
that
face
out.
gushies. Look at his face gushies. And
Ugh.
yeah, that's just a stream too.
Okay, so
Ugh.
let's
Yeah.
the position of these up
Gets dark.
and over a little bit. Zoom. Okay, there we go. So he's thrown a bunch of particles
Jason, this is
forward.
not a skunk. This is Buffy.
Aw, that's adorbs. All right, so this is going to have that weird effect where like it's basically the a little push me pull you effect where the camera starts overtaking the speed of the particles, which is going to be weird, but whatever. All right, let's do the fun part. We'll go to particle, and instead of sphere, we'll choose sprite. And instead of no sprite, we'll go to the sprite controls. We'll choose the dot layer. And on top of that, we'll then go to colorize 100%. But first, we've got to define a color gradient. So let's go down here. Color. Let me show a gradient here. All I got to do is click on random from gradient, and look, here we are. Here we are, everybody. So let's see. And whoops, I've zoomed out too far. Spree. It's perfect. All right, let's turn down the amount actually. All right, so Seth will. There we go. Add glow. All right, we got what, 4 minutes left?
Something.
Boom. Ha ha ha. This is wild. Okay. I'm not getting a lot of. Ugh. That's just silly. It's too many, first of all. Okay, we'll say 300, but then we'll ease in to the fall off there. And we'll also turn the directional spread down to like 10%. So it's a little bit more straightforward. And the velocity should be higher, but there's this implied slow-mo transition to slow-mo in a way, like to stylistically make it all Snyderversary. So these are randomly looping.
Happy Snyderversary.
Happy Snyderversary, everyone. Random loop, and let's see. So maybe that isn't a fast enough rotation, actually. Y'all think faster rotation?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. And the other
Also,
thing
the
is when they
camera's
come
moving
out,
down.
like what I liked about the effect is that they did like they went outward from his arm and then kind of like coalesced back again into like a mutual stream. It was like almost like a whisk kind of shape.
Oh. right, let's take a look at that.
I'm having
It's
a
going
day
to position.
here. What does this mean? Unable to obtain dynamic link project for doing a camera track?
Yep, that's the thing.
The camera tracker and warp stabilizer and some other things in After Effects use dynamic link to network processes to actually run their stuff.
So what does that mean for me? Like, what is happening here? I can't understand what.
I've always found a reboot fixes it, but you can't do that.
Bummer. Well,
because there's no way for us to reboot and stay streaming. So
it's true. I'm just having a non-starter of a day, guys. Hashi, you're killing it today. I'm sorry that I'm like.
Hey, you had that Godzilla thing and it looked amazing. Don't belittle yourself and your Godzilla farts. Nuclear, whatever it's called.
Godzilla farts.
What was it called? Godzilla's nuclear. What was it? Godzilla's nuclear. Did you talk through it, or did you just make it cool and then we didn't really talk about it? I think you should talk a little bit about how you made it.
Yeah, where'd you go?
If you happen to save it, you should talk. We've got 2 minutes. You can talk through it.
I did save it. It's literally let's go. It's actually very, very simple, but it is a. So I have a slider, an expression slider up top that lets me change the scale, which I'll show you what I parent to it. But I've got layer of fractal noise and then a mask, clipping it off at 50%, so it's the top half of the image, and I parented offset turbulence and the scale to that expanse slider, just so that the scale and the position of the noise will change as I move. So it does this kind of a number as I turn up the expanse slider. And I have evolution tied to the slider as well. So it's evolving and scaling and offsetting as I turn up this expanse slider. Then I've got an instance of stroke on here for, let me see if I can, that's actually not doing much now that I look at it. Turn up the brush size. The idea here was to give me like a, that kind of burn, like
the hot edge where it's contacting the ground.
Exactly. And it kind of worked, but I couldn't really get it to work necessarily like super well. Although part of me wonders if I put rough and edges right after that, it might, that might screw it up. But then I have an instance of CC Reptile, which, and just with blend borders turned up to help with that sharp border happening on CC Sphere, and then unmult, making it transparent where it's dark. Then CC Sphere. Let me turn that rough and edges back on and see what happens. That makes a slightly better.
It adds just a bit of organic edge to it. I like it. I'm a fan of it.
So
I'm just going to not acknowledge that I crashed over.
Oh, yeah, don't acknowledge it. So now, and the radius of the CC Sphere is tied to the expanse slider. So as I make this smaller and bigger, it's like spinning and scaling and everything as it scales. And because I cut it in half, the CC Sphere is only rendering the top of it. And then there's, what's after that? I did a little fast box blur. I did a little vector blur. And so let me make that thing bigger so we can see it. My computer's starting to break down as I add all these extra things. And then, of course, is a little bit of turbulent displace just to set the whole thing a little bit organic, and then optical glow on top of it. And that is how I did that.
And I think it's pretty effective. Stephen in the chat, speaking of your computer blowing up, says that perhaps we should look into some capture cards and maybe stream off of a different computer than the system you're working on. I said they should stop making smart suggestions.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion, and one that we'll take into account, because we are reevaluating right now, like how basically I might be able to spend some Axon money on some streaming stuff soon to make this show better. So keep sending the suggestions. I know I actually make a sarcastic comment every time someone gives us a helpful suggestion, but in this case, I want to make sure to validate the people.
Sure. Well, when it's tied to like buy a new system for something, we need mom and dad to pitch in. So we'll
Yes,
figure this
indeed.
out.
We will. How you doing, Hosh? What are you doing?
I'm just throwing some spree at the camera and frustration.
That
Boom.
looks pretty great.
Yeah, I mean that's this is the gist of it. Is
That
that
is
I
the
would
gist of it.
use
Then it's just coming
I
up with
just
smart camera
use
angles to really help sell it.
yeah. So I'm very thankful that Seth already had this perfect thing. Let's see, what's 360 times 3? What why don't I know that? Oh, actually I could just do why am I doing any of that? Why don't I just shorten my
1080.
thing and comp I'll just trim my comp down.
Isn't 360 times
There
3
we go.
1080? Yeah.
Probably, but I realized it was looping anyway, so it was silly to make it loop 3 times just to do that, and said I could give it fewer frames. All right, now these dots should spin a little bit faster. And I've done no color or anything to them. I'm just using the like default gradient, which I mean looks about right. Yeah.
How far over time do you want to go to make the face gushies happen?
Good question. I just started trying
Up to
to.
you, Setherson. I
Uh,
wouldn't do a whole lot more for this effect if I were doing it, for TV or whatever. I would add some CC light sweep to like give these all a look at this. It's very silly, but using light sweep on a particular layer is kind of cool because look, I can give all of these ones a little like highlight. It looks like it's coming from the room to kind of match Seth's forehead there. And I can actually turn the sweep amount down and the edge intensity up. There we go. And I'm going to create some little pretend highlights on the side. But yeah, up to you, Seth.
I don't know.
How polka
It
dotty?
wouldn't. I could get a really great version of this if I had the tracker, but I don't. So what I might just do real quick is do it just a still version and not do. Let me see if I real quick can do something like this. So I've got these dots. I'm gonna duplicate this and make a dot. I'm gonna call it a bump map. Don't call it a bump map. And let's tint these things. And or wait, no, not tint them. Let's
Wait, why do they tint?
fill with white, and then channel blur, blur the alpha, and then on the face apply CC glass, and for my surface use the bump map with effects and masks, and turn softness down and height up. Turn softness back up, height down. There, now we're seeing, because he has those like
Oh yeah, yeah. They
bulging out of his
they really
face.
puff up.
I mean, if you're doing this for real, you'd want to have some prosthetics on the actor and then just add the glowy
Yeah.
stuff to it in post. But if you don't have that option, this is a good way to go.
If you wanted like an animated version of it, like then you could base it off the makeup look and do some
Yeah, just
enhancements in between.
help tie it
Yeah.
into his skin better. Plus, you get shadows and other stuff. But sans a good prosthetics person, it's a good way to go.
It is pretty cool. I feel like there are a good handful of movies where they get to an end scene or a death scene where you can just tell that like the famous actor didn't want to do all the crazy death makeup stuff. So they're like, no, we totally got this. We'll fix this in post. And it always turns out perfectly, is what I was going to say.
Always.
Really, as we draw to a close here, one of the things that I hope everyone sees is that even if you're like hailed as someone who knows what they're doing, we don't know what we're doing.
No idea.
We get to make it up as we go and have made lots of mistakes along the way, which happens in this kind of thing. It's a lot about experimentation. But yeah, I mean, I love that knowledge you have from last week is applying to this makeup effect, Seth, and that this plate that you had from August 6th or whatever it was perfect for our polka dot man moment. Look at this. It's cute. So honestly,
That's awesome.
you could figure out 2 hours to mess around with an effect you want to figure out, and don't be worried about the mistakes. I'm making mistakes just like the pros. Because when life gives you lemons, fix it in post, as they all say. All right, I'm feeling dotted out over here.
Me too.
I mean, you got some good dots set into the face. You got some good dots flying in the air. You both got good dots. Both of your dots
Good
are great.
dots. Yeah.
Good
My next
dots,
steps for this
everybody.
would be to like figure out how I was cranking down into slow motion for this. And one of the cool things in particular is that you can even go to remember those global settings from before. You can go to the physics time factor.
Yeah.
And just have it like add a little like keyframe like right here after they're going all fast, and then choke that down to like, I don't know, half speed or like
0.25 even.
And
so
Seth,
watch, they'll all come out fast and
then go into slow-mo. Seth, it does look, before you added the dots on your face, that shot of you with the tracking markers does look like you're a SoundCloud rapper who couldn't quite commit to the full face tattoo of looking like a junior high desk that's been scrawled on.
I love that. Well, Hashi, we did it.
Oh, Hashi, you
whatever
know
it
what you do
is.
need? You need random rotation on your particles so that your sprites
Oh,
are
yeah.
in different directions. Sorry, just one thing to fix, and then we can call it an episode. But you do need some random rotation on your sprite.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Rotation.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out what was bugging me about it.
Yes.
Well, that and basic composite.
There we go. Look at that.
Much
immediately. Better. Just a teeny bit of random rotation. And they'll still look like they're kind of flipping end over end, because a lot do. But yeah, this is great. Like you could do gold coins or whatever.
Or maybe even silver coins.
Or silver coins.
Or if you're feeling crazy, copper.
Yes. All right.
Sorry.
You can
dot it out too.
You can somewhat see the moment where they flip to slow motion right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's nice.
So like you could, obviously you'd play with this more and stuff, and you'd do some more depth of fieldy stuff. I kind of like what's happening here, but I want more. Like, look at this. See, Seth is the master of using depth of field to his advantage.
It's
I'm gonna
called
try
cheating. That's all
Seth
it is.
style. See, now you can't tell that Seth is frozen back there. You assume we shot a real slow-mo plate. But now everything goes slow. Yeah, look at that. Polka dottedness.
Chat, I'm so sad that none of you commented on my new haircut, by the way.
Yeah, what the hell, chat?
Horrible.
Unreal.
Disappointed that too. Next time, well, yeah, it's useless now. We've told you.
Do we have any nice wrap-up messages before we go, Seth or Son or Hashitan?
Do we? I don't know.
I would say that we're very thankful for user suggestions. I feel like it made it a really fun episode. And also, like, the challenge element is really cool that way. I like not knowing entirely what we hope to accomplish.
Yeah, and our chat crew is a nice community. Our chill friends, our chill bumps,
children. Our children.
Children.
The VFX and children.
They're so chill, those children. We got to say it with as many L's as possible, though. Our children.
Children.
Yes, children.
That's it. That's what our fans are called, children.
Or Michael,
Children.
you and I live in the South, although you live more north than I do, but I feel like you're more tapped in. What would one say in the South if they were saying children? Chillin'.
Come on, chillins. Let's get on your VFX and vittles.
VFX and riddles?
Vittles.
Now that's a show I'm in
Oh,
for.
I like. We're gonna every week a new VFX riddle. Man,
I feel
I'm in.
like I failed the riddles this week, but keep them coming, everybody.
Hey.
Children.
Children.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. And send in more suggestions and bring some of your friends next time. Our
Come on out,
chillins.
chillins. Bring
don't
the
forget
friends.
to like and subscribe and those things.
Oh, yeah, do that. I'm waiting for the cue. When do I hit the credit button? Now?
Now.